침묵지 대신에 자기 도시상도스.
So Lama Atisha resided in Vikramalachala monastery. So he's a great scholar, came from that monastery. And this Vikramalachala monastery, so the main temple in which holds the Buddha's statues and the great storage of the Buddha's teachings, then the size of that main temple is similar to is equal to the size of the palace of the Great Enlightenment. So the size of it is very huge, and then similar to the same as the size as the palace of Great Enlightenment. And not just having one monastery and having 108 monasteries built there. So there are many. And this is built by Dharma King Dhammapala. So this is built by the sponsors, which is Dharma King Dhammapala. So the sponsors of Lhoben Singye Sangbo. So in which many Panditas resided.
자가 도지 등이 봐 상기쇼라 다 간다 추어 감각이 년단지라 다 리마오 대우리 리마오지 디기된다 간다 차샤스 리데 차사데 리 통보케레면 두스 리 통보 리디스 마오도시 상쇼라 봐 도지 등 상기쇼라 봐 두스레샤 추어 감각이 이런 디기 리마오지라 디기된다 간다 차샤스 다 지가만하시
장조라요레. Yeah, so and this monastery is built at northern side of India, and where many so-called low castes were resided.
다 간다 도스 디디지 다 조지 바디아디샤페 다 간다 라마다 다저 농대 마모레네 간다 저나페 상제구에나 장주구 세 정하나 명아 제바지티 참아구레 데 장주구 세 정하나 명아 용수도 봐 슈구레 답에 양세데 조지 바디아디샤라 도스 라미기 농대다 드리 마모 요고여서 농대 다 드리 손자 다 조지 바디아디샤가 다 장주구 세 용수도 봐 명아 담바데 다 나지 용다 라마 슬리바 알아 간다 용다 장주구 세 명아 용수도 봐 옆에 엄마 용다레샤 다디 용다 손자 다 조지 바디아디샤가 다 라마 슬리바게 간다 이제 간도네 다 장주구 세 당하다 양아데 다 마시는 지금은 누구스네 다 된도야라 간다 페야라 차시도스 생각하고스.
And so this is the short story about Lama Atisha. And Lama Atisha received many prophecy either from his lamas or from the meditational deity Zidam about encourage Lama Atisha to receive the instructions of Bodhicitta. So encourage Lama Atisha to receive the instructions of Bodhicitta. And during that time, the famous the one who is famous with the complete instructions of Bodhicitta is Lama Salingpa. So during that time, Lama Salingpa is famous for upholding the complete and holy instructions of Bodhicitta. So Lama Atisha kept this in his mind. So started to have a planning to receive the instructions of Bodhicitta.
Lama Atisha 간다 탑제네 답에 장주기 생기면아 용수도 받다 디 시야체다 간다 타림보 가지나 앞에 센터제네 다 간다 셀링기라 라마 셀링고 슈사기라 다 간다 투스 페바레스 다 페가라 간다 로마 간다 조 펜디테 사이니보세 로마 조지티레샤 대신다 다 로마 간다 동 자르니 시상하스 남도 투스 다 간다 조지 바데디제 냠도 페니 된 소그나 간다 주진한 페니 다 셀링기라 다 다와추스 그리 망가라 투슨 거셔서 다 다와추스 링고니 다와추스 위제라 비게 간다 셀링기라 간다 투스 안조바레 다 딘도에 페이가라 간다 소나나 때때 게 빠진 망고 쉬우지 중요르페 참산르페 냐쳔보페 주진 알로 제도 체와다 참산의 출lumlum수 쳔보제네 딘디게 나바 에 주진 알로지야 지에페네 갈레리아 다 딘디페 never came over to the late Sasha. The Nile Calatama, George Padia de Hegi, Iran Hinji, or Gigi Hinji, Himalatine, and this Watani, take on the never got part doya, those what and those chungsha. Did the Dingani, they can Lama Seli Yulapa, those Joares.
So in order to receive the instructions of Bodhicitta, Lama Adisha started to plan and put effort in receiving these instructions of Bodhicitta. So he wanted to meet Lama Salingpa, so who resided in Seling. So it's a place, it's called Seling, it's also called Golden Continent. So he wanted to go to Golden Continent and then to receive the instructions from Lama Salingpa. And together with Lama Adisha was his students, for example, the students of Pandita Sai Nyingbo, so Pandita Siti Karba, so his name is called Siti Karba. So together with 125 students of Lama Adisha, so Lama Adisha went to Golden Continent to meet Lama Salingpa to receive the instructions. And so Lama Adisha was on the boat and then traveling to Golden Continent, and it took 13 months. So the journey itself took 13 months. So and Lama Adisha finally reached Golden Continent. And along the journey, especially on sea, and Lama Adisha met a lot of encounter with many obstacles. Like for example, there are big fish and big sea creatures, and then they are trying to to knock or to move the boat, and also due to the bad weathers like storm and etc. And so many times they encounter such obstacles, and there was a danger that their boat might turn upside down. So whenever Lama Adisha met such obstacles, and Lama Adisha would pray, make supplication prayers to his Siddham or Yamantaka, and to remove such obstacles.
Lama Selim Biyulapa. That's Selim Biyula, George Badia de Chagata, Korloma, Jadane Sama, Devongani. That's Selim Biyula, Yovaris. That's Selim Biyulapa, and George said this Selim Lama Selim Loma, Sandi Bate, and the Kashi, Toma to Stuaris, Toma, Lama Selim Kor, Loma so, and the Sandepa, Rajun and the Kashi Tuaris. That is so Kashi Tune, that is so ventilation, that is so ventilation. De Nima Chugringala, that Nima Chugringala, doesn't know the Kanda, Nasuni Lama Senipa, Kota Chiba Sama, Georgia Adisha, Kota Chiba Sama, Nasuni, Nima Chugringala, then Nasuni, the Lama Selimba Loma, the Raju Sande, but so Kashi number, the Dolin Chile, the Lama Selimba Kor, Loma to Sogi, the Lama Georgia Padia Adisha Loma, into the side Nibolas of Kosola, that Georgia Padia Adisha Zena. The Kandi Lama Luji, some drought nature. The drought nature, the because of the painted the size in Bolas about Georgia Padia in the shape, in the rimstone, the naps of park as Kotel Passion, because the drought nature, partially, the Lomas of the Georgia Padia shall Hans and the Devachin, but Jebatan was something which I want to pay to the Moshe to some Mobuchas. A teach whom I said, and that Georgia Padia Dishavi, Loma de Sudupa. Lama Selimba Lama Sol Patuatani, Lama Selimba in Zenam, so Kandi Solpa Tuatan. That is a Tuatani, whose donation, the Lama Selimba Nanta, Zenam so Pachi, to some of the Hachel Devachimo. She had that can be Nima Jurina, whose donation, a Shunity, Kanda to Cheshas.
So finally, Lama Adisha reached the Golden Continent, and Lama Salingpa, they welcomed Lama Adisha, and together with his students as well. So welcome happily welcome Lama Adisha and his students happily. And so for 10 days, they spent together. So the students of Lama Salingpa and also the students of Lama Adisha, so they spend about 10 days together. So take a rest, and also to have question and answers, or to have discussions in between them. So what they were discussing was Lama Adisha's students, for example, the Pandita Sai Nyingbo Siti Karba. So they asked the history, and asked about the activities of Lama Salingpa. And Lama Salingpa's students then explained the great activities, the enlightened activities, and also the great history of Lama Selingpa to the students of Lama Atisha, and students of Atisha, they were amazed with the great activities of Lama Selingpa. So similarly, Lama Selingpa's students, they also asked about the history and also the great activities done by Lama Atisha. So the students of Lama Atisha explain those informations to the students of Lama Selingpa, and they were both amazed with each other's teachers.
That was Lama Selingpa Loma so Kashita, Lama Selibayan in Jarapene, that Georgia Padia to the Petshas, Georgia Padia to the Penny. That way, and Zenam so the Lama Sanji Machava, Jim Tamatandi, Reshas in the Lama Selibaya Chunta, Lama Seliba Tunia Mushuchas, the Tunia Mushutunia, then you might do Jella, Aganda, the Georgia Padia Jam Court, Javatsama, the Lama Seliba, and Jehas Pil. Then Jagas Pil, that Ganda Jaga Pigala, that Langala Selibagi. Lama Selingpa Podana to Masi, Tanyabo, Chicala, Tanyabo, or Chabicala, the Lama Selingpa, the Dutch Manaja, the Rajunaja, the Nipe, Pestan, Nipes, the Langala, 17
Lama Selingpa.
Or Selingpa, Selingpa Loma, and the Dutch Manaja, Rajunaja, the Nipe, Pes Langala Pesici, Selingpa Podanse. The George Padia, Loma Samana, Japanese land court to the park, was originally. La Michi Shumba show the Tomba Tedishanico, Langine, 70 to Spa Penny. The Selimba, George Paddy Tamope, that was just some of a penny, the Selimba Pet, Todi, Shop, Pes Jachum, Shoshas, George Paddy Shana, the Dutch Mamma, Digicanda, Pes 70 to Cheshas.
Lama Selingpa, the Portran La Tutu,
Panjaka Pebble, George Paddy Fanjaka Pebora, Langal Pegala. Selingpa Podala Pachi, Tanya, Wole, Saikala, the Saisotela, the Kala Selingpa, Loma, Dutch Mangaja, Rajunaja, oh, Rajunaja, Nipa, Peshin, Peshin, the insurance.
Rajum Bangapja and Rabjungapja, Chazan and Chitong, the So this is how the students of Lama Atisha and Lama Selingpa, they spend 10 days discussing each other's teachers' great activities. And then Lama Selingpa, together with Lama Atisha, together with his few students of Lama Selingpa, then went to meet Lama Selingpa, and Lama Selingpa was very pleased with the coming of Lama Atisha. So later, when the students of Lama Atisha went to meet Lama Selingpa as well in his the monastery or in his palace, then Lama Selingpa asked 1,000 of his students, so 500 of Arhat and 500 of ordained persons, and then ordained people, and then asked them to receive Lama Atisha, and then together with his students, 125 students.
George Padia, Porta Java, some Lama Selingpa, to Sinjaka Shivaresta, and Jaka Havarest, Lama Selingpa and Jivashine, they can George Padia, Kanda, Rumbuchi, Ubanano, that's it, Shiro, Bendia, Sopa, Kanjani, they can that Chinese thing, Dangano, Shia, Dilgina, Korkanga, say, set on the area to some Kosama to see a pinning. George Padia, quote so that Chata Kanda to see someone to set on the area to the George Padia, Kanda, say Rumbuchi, Banano, that Rumbuchi, Rimamuch, to Kanda, a Chajusi, Damba Shia, to see that Lama Selingpa pin, the Lama Selingpa, that Chajusi, Dangano, the Lama Selingpa, and the Tunia Bushas, Tunia Bushini, that and the Damashi, Low Johnny Pata, and the Selingula, that Damashi, Sugares, George Padia, Low Johnny Pato, Low Johnny Rina, that Damashi, Sugares, the Low Johnny, Damashi, George Padia, eating. I want to turn in Jesus, that way, the Chanju Manga, you so bata. I am asking the Yitzima, Tulsimo, the Shubuchas Kanda.
So Lama Salimpa received Lama Atisha in his monasteries or in his palace, and then Lama Atisha presented the treasury vase, and then in which in those vases, and there were golds, and there were those red corals, and then there were those lapis lazuli, so in which filled with those precious stones. And when Lama Atisha presented those treasure vase to Lama Salimpa, and then with the request, to request Lama Salimpa to grant him the instructions of bodhicitta. And Lama Salimpa were pleased with Lama Atisha, and Lama Salimpa gave instructions of bodhicitta to Lama Atisha. So Lama Atisha received the instructions from Lama Salimpa for 12 years. So for 12 years, Lama Atisha received the instructions, and until Lama Atisha, in his mind, he felt very contented with the instructions that I have received, all the instructions already. So this thought came to his mind. Yeah, and after 12 years later, Lama Atisha went back to India, and later he went to Tibet, and in Tibet, Lama Atisha composed a Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment. So this is the short stories about Lama Salimpa and Lama Atisha. So I'll say you can refer to other texts for the longer versions of these stories. Lamrim Chimo ina di rating tumare, ini di Lamrim Yamgu mai, the ganden tumare, ngapchu ngaku. Yep. So the instructions of this text is from Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, composed by Lama Atisha. So, and Lamrim Chemo, the Great Stages of the Path to Enlightenment, is composed by Je Rinpoche or Lama Tsongkhapa, and there is a great stories of Lama Tsongkhapa as well. So, however, I will only explain it briefly about Lama Tsongkhapa. So Lama Tsongkhapa composed Lamrim Chemo, the Great Stages of the Path to Enlightenment, at the age of 46 at Rajeng Monastery. So Rajeng Monastery is the Dundun bagi Jechungzaro. Densa. Yeah, so is where Dundunba resided. So Rajeng Monastery is where Dundunba resided. So Lama Tsongkhapa composed Lamrim Chemo at Rajeng Monastery. So at the age of 59, and he composed Lamrim Yamguma. So Lamrim Yamguma is the spiritual song of realizations of Lamrim, and Lama Tsongkhapa composed this text at Ganden Monastery.
Ganda Lari, Chemo, Mazungula, and the Jerumbocheda, that the Jerumbochi, Lochin Chanches on Lochua, Lochin Chanches on Lochin Chancho Press on the Chota, the Gizirenda, Gizirenda, number son, that Chijin, Several Chijin, Jerumbochi. That this was that I shan't you, yes, I shan't you, yes, ticket dancer like that. Yaga wants a young such as you are.
Chijin
Chujinansu several Chujinansu, Chijimbochilla, Lochichan Pesamo, Gizirenda. So this one, the Larichamo Tambo Manzonilla, the Aishi dancer, Aishi dancer, the Kanda Yaniki, to see Ansanchu, once Ansanchu, Yaniki Sanchu, Sanchu, Yema and Sama training, then Sama, Gaia training, then Gaia training, they Kanda Ratin the part. Jerumuche, they are the penny. They and don't them as a good sugar machine, the penny, the Larichamo Faggots. That kind of Ratin the penny, they Lari Sunday, Lancho Bonje, Laru Sunday, Lancho Bonjes, about this hours. Lari Sunday, Lancho Bonjes,
Lamrim Comche,
Lari Lamaji Sunday, Lari Lamaji Sunday, Lancho Bonjes, middle.
Lamchu
Comche. That day, Thomas dates on it. The Lari Lamaji Sunday, that Lari Lamaji was the kind of Swatani, Lancho Bonje to somebody's.
Aishi Gitensala. Aishi
sounds like Aishi.
Then Aishi, not the such a meaning.
I can't you dancers. I can't you the Kurota. Kadam Lamajua, here. That could remember.
So before
she said to me,
Young Bajian. Oh. So before Lama Tsongkhapa composed Lamrim Chemo, so together with Lama Tsongkhapa, together with another two great masters, Lo Chen Gachen Sangbo and Jejun Rendawa. So together, so three of them. So because Kunzu Sumbo in the Agi Ajantri, Kunzu Nyamdu in the Tamtu. And together with the entourage, and then they stay at the monastery of Jiangchu Yeshe. So Jiangchu Yeshe is a Katamba Lama. So in his monasteries, and then they did retreat. So it's a summer retreat. So they did summer retreat together. And after they finished the summer retreat, Lama Tsongkhapa went to Rajin Monastery and composed Lamrim Chemo there. So before he composed Lamrim Chemo at Rajin Monastery, he first composed the prayer of Lamrim. So the prayer of Lamrim. So the prayer of Lamrim is the supplication prayers made to the lineage masters of Lamrim, and the title of this text is called Lamcho Gomgye.
That is the Lamcho Gomgye. They can they don't shoot up a so she would in a duck on the timber to be on the timber to be on the take on the Lamajiba. Hanga the Hesiba is Kanda. Lagiondo, Lamajiba, you want to go chasing Jermucharawa. And this chasing that Dawajigri Kanda and don't temper. And don't temper Georgie Padia de Hus and don't temper Georgie Padia Disha. Gishi Charawa, Gishi Potoa. That is okay. Dawajig Palpin chasing. Chasing it on the Manga, Mambo to number is Dawajigri. It was chasing it. The Mambo to number is Dawajipat.
So having made supplication prayer to the lineage masters, so started from Buddha Shakyamuni, and then together with other lineage masters of Lamrim, and Lama Tsongkhapa had visions of those lineage masters. So for 1 month, then he had the visions of Lama Atisha, Tundumba, Kishi Sharawa, Kishi Potowas, and etc. And Lama Tsongkhapa received instructions from all those lineage masters.
That Tamadilla Gishi Potowa, Gishi Sharawa, Roa, Gishi Kandadero, Nomdama, Jayune, Sama the Tamalpa, George Padia Digital Patimaris, George Padia Digital Patin. That's some of the George Padia Digital Patin, the George Padia Digital Kandajerum, Ukama, Chalatus Shane, Chatus Shane, that Tembala Kandarua, Tembala Shawa Jachimbo cheese, that Tembala Shawa Jachimbo was Charan, Zobi Chantuji compared to Batan, Sinji Tenshaba, Jodi, Daxi to Nichi was a George Padia Tisumba, Jerumucha, Chalade, Samata George, Nutamba Jayunida, Bishop Podo Shara, Sama, George Patinzarua, George Patinza, the George Jerumuchi, Ukama. Chala Shami, Dembala, Shaw Jachimbo Chishu was Jachimbo Chishus, Zobi Chantuji compared to Bada, CJ Tanji, George Shebade, indeed Gender Dwelling, Jode, need dark chichu, was Channel, but the chichu was it to Sumaris.
So at the end, Gishi Sharawa, Gishi Potoa, Gishi Dundumba, and they absorbed into Lama Tisha. And Lama Tisha put his hands on the head of Lama Tsongkhapa and said, spread the Buddha's teachings, spread the Buddha's teachings, and bring benefits to the Buddha's teachings and to benefit the sentient beings as well. And I will constantly provide my assistance to you.
Under the George Padia Dishabita, under Jerumochi, Ukalama, to the Chalashane, Temba and Walla Jachingochi, Adobe Chanchu, Dubada, Sinjit, Tenship, Toward the Dagi Chicken, easy, who's loaded that Jerumochi, George Padia Dishabita, Jerumochi, Lamrim, Soyan, Kuata, Nawa, to Stema, his kind of Nawa Jabata, Narizon to score his, Narizon shows Tatana, Narizon shows the Kuata. Then no, Narizon was touching no towards George by that. But that did this kind of top, ending its him to say top, ending its him is and the Narizon.
Lama Tisha, the Lama Tsongkhapa Wula Shavar. So Lama Tisha put his hands on the head of Lama Tsongkhapa and said, bring benefits to spread Buddha's teachings and bring benefits to Buddha's teachings and sentient beings, and I will constantly provide assistance to you. And then Lama Tisha said to Lama Tsongkhapa, compose Lamrim. So he said to Lama Tsongkhapa, compose Lamrim. So Lama Tisha gave permissions to Lama Tsongkhapa to compose Lamrim text, and this is the auspicious signs received by Lama Tsongkhapa from Lama Tisha.
That Kanda George Padia here to know to the that some which you control settings, some which you control settings, that control setting like you work, control some which you control setting that can't control chances. That no changes of based on the choice. That is not check about this one. Kanda Jerumochela, that Lari song shows that Kubaris Kanda. That Jerumochela song shows to score is the Jerumocheta is changing number.
Kachin Tsutim.
Control setting.
Control Sutim.
Control Jansi. Oh, I did launch it. And the person which you
Control Sutim, Control
Jansi.
Again, and Lochin getting some more. So after Lama Tisha gave permissions to Lama Tsongkhapa to compose the Lamrim text, and besides these, Kuncho Tsutim, Kuncho Gensen, and Lochin Getsen Sangbo, also those great masters, they also requested or encouraged Lama Tsongkhapa to compose Lamrim text as well.
That Jerumochi, that Lari Tsong to some words on the Lari Tsong goes on the Jitin Jambia, which has in it, Jitin Jambia, Jerumochela, Namputa, Mena, Lamstone of the Roa, that Jitin Jambia, Jerumochela, Niki Chana, Nambi. Ninjuda Chanju said the Yanta with Tawa Soji, then Mandi by Chanabi, Lari Chang in Basin to Soma Este, Joa, Jitinjabia, Jerumochela, Niki Chanama, Nanju, Ninjuda, Chanju said the Yanta with Tawa Sota, Jitinjabia, Jerumochela, then Mandi by Chanabi, Lari Chang in as it to the Kutshiva is conduct.
Team Mandibe.
대나는 만디바 만디비 랑리 지자인 인베스 연주다 장주선 양대 따와 손나로 만디비 니지 내가 나야게 연주다 장주선 양대 따와 손이 만디비 저랑 랑리 지자인 인베스 그래서 그제 넘어스 근제는 뭐지 내가 내 말에서 연주다 장주선 양대 따와서 대 시작부터 그 조지 빠디 아드샤게 제부스데 란데림바디야 카고니 예소디야 카고니 네 랑리 지자인 예세 부시야 슈가레스고 야 슈가레 근데 이제 진짜비에 제모지기여서 야고 쇼레샤스 레바스 나아지서 말했어 레바 쇼리지 레바야고 레샤스 때 나아지더니 그래 제모지에서 그래 이게 제모지가 있어 제모지가 야고 쇼레샤스 진짜비에 간다 나아지나 그랬어 이 시작부터 와 진짜비에 있는 명아 랑지 조는 이 시작부터 다 제부스니 랑지를 봐 명아서 조지 빠디야 지셔와 조지 어떻게 대담아 집에서 나한테 받으면 자리 땡이 나래 저 이세 그래서 내가 어떻게 야비에 그 제목이 아야고 정샷는 와지 쉬어서 그랬어
Lamrim, yeah. So then Lama Tsongkhapa started to compose Lamrim Chenmo. So when Lama Tsongkhapa composed the text, and he also had the visions of Manjushri as well. And from Jambeang, he received the instructions of three principal aspects of the path. And three principal aspects of the paths are renunciation, bodhicitta, and the correct view. Then after Manjushri gave the instructions to Lama Tsongkhapa, and Manjushri asked Lama Tsongkhapa, so would you compose a text that do not contain these or whatever that I have instructed, or whatever instructions that I have given you, which is the three principal aspects of the path. So Manjushri asked Lama Tsongkhapa, would you compose a text that do not contain the instructions that I have just given you, which are the three principal aspects of the path? And Lama Tsongkhapa said, I will compose a text that contains these three principal aspects of the path, together with the stages of the path of three scopes of being, which is composed by Lama Atisha. So I will combine these your instructions together with the stages of the path of three scopes of being composed by Lama Atisha. I will combine it, and then I will compose a text that contain these two instructions. And Manjushri then later said to Lama Tsongkhapa that I was just kidding with you. So it's very excellent.
추진하다 된 말이에요. 체바다 봐봐. 이제 추진하고 이번에 체바다 봐봐. 나는 체모네. 체방하고 이번에 와 체방 추진하고 이번에 다 간다 체바다 봐봐. 도서 작업을했어. 나는 체모. 체바 당보도 가르잖아. 희자 체바다 봐봐서 간다로 와. 마 희지기 체바다 봐봐. 희바셔와 체바다 봐봐. 다른 아니라 희자가 된다데 지진 준비해 진나이. 다 당봐. 나는 쏘 나서. 대다. 다 조이면아. 제무슨 나지린 봐. 예수가 있잖아요. 시와선사 그 시작이 체바도 봐봐서와 시작 체바도 봐봐서 체바 담보도 되어 있어.
무슨 남순 기부숨 람리
기부숨 조지 빠디한테 시작해. 기부숨
So the Lamrim Chenmo, great treatise of stages of the path to enlightenment, composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, contain or possess 5 great qualities. So the first great qualities is, or the excellent qualities is the excellent content. So the excellent content refers to, because the content of Lamrim Chenmo is composed, combining the three principal aspects of the path given by this instruction given by Manjushri, and then together with the stages of the path of 3 scopes of beings composed by Lama Atisha. So because of these two combinations of these 2 instructions, therefore Lamrim Chenmo, the contents is the excellent content.
실제 제가도 봐봐서 가르치면 간다 뭐지 디자 온보를 타 송가라 말로와 타 송가라 말 간다 내 제단데 뭐 많노와 고리 많주바 장 하치네 장 타바 많이 봐 체바 많이 봐 너와 장 하치네 고리 많주바 뭐 많노와 디자 코라게 칸다 메바라 빠다 코라 배 체스 림바다 대단 팀바 디자 코라 니체들 팀바 도스 간다 람지 림바스 다 간다 람지 림바스 체단데 가르치나 코라제 디자 온보리 니체가 끼는 체바로와 다 된디게 체스 체바다 봐봐서는 다 디자 코로 칸다 메바라 인신가 간다 뭐 많노와 많주바 너와 장 하바다 체바 많이 봐 어떤 된디게 고토네 체바스다 다 체스 체바다 봐봐레스.
And the second excellence is the excellent way of explaining or excellent explanations. And in Lamrim Chemo, it talks about the path of three scopes of beings, right? So the three scopes of beings refers to the beings with the excellent qualifications, the medium qualifications, or you can say the excellence, the great scope, the medium scope, and the low scope. So these are the three types of mental dispositions of the disciples. So the way Lama Tsongkhapa explained in this text, the nature is unmistaken and is in the gradual order. So the order is not upside down, and the explanations I'll say is free of the fault of omissions, and also free of the faults of accessions as well as excessive explanations, and those explanations fit the mind or fit the mental dispositions of the disciples. So because of explaining in the teachings in this way, or the path in this way, therefore it possessed excellent explanations, the quality of excellent explanation.
Jesus 고압이 체반을 봐봐서 다 아니 체모 종쇼스는 고압을 체반을 봐봐서 다 고압을 체반을 판매도 되게 주제나서 현장만 하시 되게 뭐 지자체 봐서 뭐 총변 우리 종쇼스는 고압을 때부터 한번 상지고 체반을 군조 지진다 군조 전제와 어다 대순간 때는 아니 체모 종쇼스는 코스 때부터 한번 상지고 잡아 앞에 쉬우지 배키가 체모로와 어다 대순간 고압을 체반을 봐도 되네 그러니까 나 아니 체모도 상바래서 다 고압이 체반을 되네
And the third good quality is excellent people who encourage or who exhort Lama Tsongkhapa to compose the text. So the excellent people who exhort Lama Tsongkhapa to compose the text. And as what I mentioned before, Kuncho Tsutim, Kuncho Gyatsen, and Lochen Gyatsen Sangbo.
다 시바데 다 나리 처마 종사가 네 체바도 봐봤다 이 군도 시바 다 네데 논tem바 개인적인 대사로와 네데 대사페 상지 템바 배사 좀 배서 시야가 답에 체바지 차고래 근데 네 자체도 리지라 판다 나리 처마 소마에서 네 체바 봐봐.
And the fourth quality is excellent place. So excellent place, as I also mentioned this already. So Lamrim Chemo was composed at Rajeng Monastery, where Dundunpa was recited. And at this place, Rajeng place, then the Buddha's teachings was upheld, was properly upheld, was properly preserved, and also was widespread as well. So at this excellent place, Lamrim Chemo was composed. And the fifth quality is excellent entourage. So excellent entourage refers to the students, the students of Lama Tsongkhapa. So that includes the main disciples, which is Gesabje and Tuzin Gyatsen Thakwa. and together with other great entourage or students of Lama Tsongkhapa, that is the intended audience of this text. So therefore, the Lamrim Chenmo possess the fifth quality, which is excellent entourage. So this is a brief introductions about this Lamrim, about the text Jangchut Lamrim Chenmo, and has it possessing the 5 excellent qualities. So in the future, if we have time, then I will explain it in detail. So I'm going to explain today's teachings, and the text is what I'm showing on the screen. General introductory explanations of the instructions taught here. So start with the statements, the Dharma to be explained here. So this paragraph, the Dharma to be explained here consists in how the fortunate are led to the level of Buddhahood through the stages of the path to enlightenment. They summarize all the points of the Victor scriptures, follow the traditions of the 2 great trailblazers, Nagarjuna and Asanga, constitute the Dharma system of supreme beings who progress to the level of omniscience, and contain all the stages without omission that the 3 types of persons need to practice. So in this paragraph, it contains 5 points. So it contains 5 points through which we identify the teachings. So according to the Tibetan text, the first sentence is it summarizes all the points of the Victor's scriptures. We summarize, or it contains all the points of the Victor's scriptures. So this first statement is to eliminate the doubt about whether this text contains the teachings, the sutra teachings only, or it contains the tantra teachings only. So in order to remove these doubts, then through the first sentence, it already shows that it contains all the points of the Victor scriptures, showing that this Lamrim text contains all the instructions, not only from sutra, together with the tantra instructions as well. So it contains all the points of the Victor scriptures. So the sutra instructions, like for example the Vakyaparamita Sutra, so the implicit topic, which is emptiness, and the explicit topic, which is emptiness, and the implicit teachings, which is the ornament for clear realization. So the stages of these two teachings, the implicit teachings and also explicit teachings, are contained in the text. So not only that, and all the Tantra teachings are included in this text as well.
근데 자유스로 탄지 있네 뒤네 되고 소리하래서 자유스로 요즘은 동안 니기 소라세고 자유스로 영어서 뭐 되게 얘기는 소리에 내가 아셔 된다 대해서 직다로 ndigoreswa 아셔 문제 때문에.
So sometimes we might have doubt whether Lamrim Chenmo, Lamrim text, Lamrim Chenmo contains the sutra and tantra or not. So the sutra teachings and tantra teachings or not. So if you have this style, then you can remind yourself of this first sentence. It summarizes all the points of the Victor's scriptures. So in from this first sentence, then you can understand that all the points of Victor's scriptures refers to the scriptures of not only in Tantra, also in not only in Sutra, also in Tantra as well. So it contains all the teachings from Sutra and Sutra teachings and Tantra teachings as well. So just this first sentence, then it can eliminate your own doubt.
간디지 두구나 이 두에게 타팀이 당아 겨보나시 당하게 겨보나시 신제 강강 와서에 내갑지 된다 두구나 타두고 된다 가르지 두구나 대바 간다 두에게 탑대 당하게 겨보나시만 대바디 창고에서 나오게.
And Lamrim is like the king of the instructions because in which it shows the method to accomplish not only the temporary goal or temporary necessities, and it also talked about, it also indicates the method to achieve the ultimate goal as well.
근데 맞소배 네 두시르배 녀무도서 차고를 가서 네데 녀무도서 네데 쳔들라 뇌지고를 세시마라 뇌지고를 근데 네 쳔고 대파 정지지 네다 쳔고대 알아채니 그래서 참여해서 나셔보드리겠어.
And Lamrim Chenmo is likened to a great and precious medicine that can eliminate all types of poisons. So the poisons here refers to from the origins of sufferings, which is the three poisons of afflictions. So these three poisons of afflictions, not only it will harm us in these lives, and because of these three poisons, it will harm us in the future as well. So the medicine, the precious medicine, the great medicines that eliminate all these afflictions is Lamrim Chenmo.
당연하죠. 메시비 민바스 드림이다고 세우라. 민바바스의 드림이나시. 당연하죠. 그냥 제가 미나 끼는데 랑간 로사 만토바 미나라고 끼는 가서 비 하디와이나 따로 왜 처음부터나 랑가데 따다 땡으로 와. 아 내가 나시 나좀 코아바 신제 강가데 마리바 민바디기 파 민바디 뚱이로 와. 아 한다 디왕게 랑 논조라 만보지 동요래. 다들 좀 민바서 파 세야게 로아 미버서 세야게 드리메나시 미버세게 드리메나시 다 디리에서 가서 다디 나리기 드리메데 가서 사모토 번지 셔르데 시오디기 시오로와
사모토 많이
동반에 또 셔르데 사미 셔르데 마리비 미버세야 디로와.
Yeah, and again, Lamrim Chenmo is likened to a bright light or bright lamp because of the darkness. Because of, like, for example, if we go to a place and if it's in total darkness, then we cannot differentiate, we cannot tell which is the path to take, right? So then there is a danger that we will, go astray or not, fall off cliff and etc. So Lamrim Chemo is likened to a bright lamp that, it illuminates the path for you to, eliminate the correct path, and then you take the path, and then you can reach the goal. So, so similarly, so using this as an example to describe sentient beings are, obscured in total darkness of ignorance, and this Lamrim Chemo is like the bright lamp, illuminate the path, and then they can take the correct path. And and this bright lamp also specifically refers to the profound view, the wisdom realizing emptiness.
어디가 그 디수 상지 단지 때문에 추진 제 전부 디수의 상지 요소도 바고 그 추비 제 전부스나 나도 잡고 방전하라 pen 너무 린다 쳐보 나도 여번하시 그와 여번하시 아 라니 쳐모데 디수의 상지 요소도 바고 추진 제 전부 나시 잡고 전제 제 전부 나시와 아 참다 뒤집어놓고 다가 요소도 봐 원래 된디 레스고 간다 라니데 나서 때 자침도 쉬어레스
Also, Lamrim Chemo is likened to a treasure vase. So, just like a treasure vase of a king, in which the king puts all kinds of precious stones in it. So, all those precious stones and all those jewels are put into it, and so the treasure vase contains all the great jewels, the precious jewels. So, similar to this, Lamrim Chemo is the great treasure of Dharma, because in which it contains all the teachings of the three times.
hinda sewa den dosa langa de chembo ju go dem langa chunchu jila nganso hinda ga lang se lo mar was nangamula di hinda se pe cha ga de ngamula ngaso modern da da discipline di che ka la ngaso da ne ta modern no ne da mo ri mango jero da da so di sa modern lang se lo ro modern langa se ngamal pina dan din chidang dosa langa chiju da mo de hinda lo sa langa cha go hinda lo sa langa da langa chunchu jila ngaso hinda ga lang se lo mar pa langa ja chimo 로사들라 바 고용고 자치모 어디 든지시 남들라 다 힌다가 나와서 힌다가 나와서 너무로와 당마 티지시 템바들라 배 냐니 제가 템바 뺑기지 망고 여르데 이나 힌다 첨부르도 토미니지 야 랑도 소 마시 받아 자치모들이 다 두요 말했어 자치모들이 다 두요 말했어 자치모 다 두요 말해 야 르도 토미니지 힌다가 랑소 시바 나시 내가 나시 다 장주 나리 제목에 때만 진정 배송이 나서 근데 휴 전부지 간다 배야 두 시그널이스 최대 이모의 두시 차딩 거를 신다 전부 우리도 토미니지 랑소 나시 차딩 예스 되게 랑소 시다 가능해 랑 중문지라 랑소 랑 전부 자체 랑스 기자 니콜 또 말와 또 말와 다 디사 랑소 뭐라 랑스 에 줄룩 랑스 자체 뭐다 니시게 시고로 다 뭐가 신다 배샤고 주제들이 다 디자 딜리다 샤와이나 뭐라 나서가 좀 주고도 하고 뭐라 나서가 간다 전부 보러 와 다 뭐 템바 여대 여대 템바 여대 여대 이노 다 신다 전부니다 마진 봐도 자체 못들이 빼마도 되니 빼네 자체 뭐 쉬지 빼 다와리스 간다 다 나리 전부 다 나시 신다 전부 나서 나시 됐어
So and the next sentence, follow the traditions of the two great trailblazers, Nagarjuna and Asanga. So these great trailblazers, Nagarjuna and Asanga, is also mentioned in the homage part as well. So why we call the great trailblazers? So trailblazers, or we also call it the great charioteers. Yeah. So in the past, when the road for the chariot to cross over or to take, it must be a big road. So if it's a small road, then the chariot cannot go through, right? So in modern words, and you can refer to the big road, for many cars to go over. And here, what it means is why we call the great trailblazers or great charioteers is because even though in the past there were many many beings, many masters and etc. They preserved, upheld, and spread Buddha's teachings as well. However, their activities were not as extensive as Nagarjuna and Asanga. So therefore, Nagarjuna and Asanga were called the two great trailblazers or the two great charioteers. So Lamrim Chenmo is also upheld the traditions of the two great trailblazers as well.
But the reason that number 20 GB to choose Lomdo somebody. Number 20 GB was the Roa, Sanji Kumpalia. Number 20 GB the Sanji Kumpalia. Delaya, that give choice now to give Chimbo Kitchen, give Chimbo, or Suya and Dragon, give Chori and Dragon, back on that to stand at the ship.
And the first sentence, how the fortunate are led to the level of Buddhahood through the stages of the path to enlightenment. Sorry, this one. Constitute the Dharma systems of supreme beings who progress to the level of omniscience. So refer to this sentence. So level of omniscience refers to the state of enlightenment, and system of supreme beings. So the supreme here refers to the Mahayanists, or the great scope of beings. So the supreme beings here refers to the great scopes of being, and it contains all the stages without omission that the three types of persons need to practice. So the three types of persons or three types of beings refers to the small scope of being, the medium scope of being, and the great scope of beings as well. So whatever they need to practice, they are mentioned without any the complete instructions are mentioned in this text. So for the goal of these three types of beings, so in brief, the goal for the small scope of beings is to achieve a higher rebirth in the future. And the goal for the medium scope of beings is to achieve a self-liberation. And the goal for great scopes of beings is to achieve the state of enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings.
chanchu langri lang ki ba degi to nyane chige pe sul chego sna kewa demba de so sanji sala chi chiba shi chwe de es tingwe es oda de kewa demba ma so chawe lang chemo kesan chige so chawe.
And the first sentence here it consists in how the fortunate are led to the level of Buddhahood through the stages of the path to enlightenment. So here, the fortunate ones, you can understand it as oneself. So all of us, we have the fortunate to meet with to meet with the Lamrim teachings and then able to practice Lamrim teachings as well. So we should consider ourselves, we should recognize that we are so fortunate to be able to have met Lamrim teachings and practice accordingly and in the manner of listening to the Dharma, contemplating, and also meditating as well. So to which we achieve, we are led to the stages of led to the path to enlightenment. So compared to others, they are not so fortunate. Like for example, they do not accept Buddhist teachings, or those sentient beings, for example, animal beings, they are not fortunate because of not having the intelligence or not having wisdom to understand it. So through comparing, then we should recognize how fortunate we are.
단 된다 대응하기 된다 주생안도 장가당아 되게변나 chanchulangri chemode 자치를 가지 이미 시야게 최대 자치모 가지 이미 리신 신고로 딜레 니바 컨디네 다 최대 전대다 최 희지 최대 원소와서 된다 되래 chanchulangri 게 시바시 최대 컨디지 이미 당아서 원소와 아이 보도 시바 나시겠다 된다 쉬세요 봐 어다디 단다디 응아디 간다 시제강도와 시제강들이 선대 장주랑리 제목에 선대 니바다 된다 간디지요네 희약의 최대 가리임에 된 선대의 원소한테 해서 어디가서 도도지 나고야 되래 좋아.
Yeah, so in these paragraphs, so there are five sentences in this paragraph. So it talks about these points, through these 5 points, then we can understand the Dharma or understand the teachings that is going to be explained here. So like, for example, how precious this Lamrim teaching is, and how meaningful this Lamrim teaching is, and how powerful this Lamrim teaching is, and how qualified this Lamrim teaching is, and what is the content of this Lamrim, so are identified in this paragraph.
다디 월데 다디라 이 까말라실에 개발하는 최종법의 저와 취재처와 디지털기능의 수동에도 개체와 예바 따라서 어다디 최최단권의 시고로 최최단권의 디까말라실에 개발하는 제다데 최토마 최종법의 저와 디지털처와 디지털기능의 수송 대수도 간다 조소의 시고로 예시고로 아 간다 디 나니래 개발 속에 간다 최 로비지 나다봐 로미지다봐 시지 최다봐 다바 순주권의 체체고리에서 지가만 라실하게 취지 순주권에 체체바다 대순주권 취지 대순주권에 도마 체체가 되지고리에서 이니 간다 지만다와 도시 여기서 간다와.
Yeah, and continue text. The scholars of glorious Vikramalashala monastery consider it vital to commence with 3 preliminaries: the greatness of the author of the teachings, the greatness of the teachings, and the way to explain and listen to them. So according to the Vikramalashala monastery, so their traditions or their system to compose the text, and they will start it with 3 preliminaries. So the greatness of the author of the teachings, the greatness of the teachings, and the way to explain to them. So this is Lama Tsongkhapa following these traditions and compose Lamrim Chenmo. So this is the traditions of Vikramalashala monastery. And besides this, another great monastery, which is Nalanda monastery, the traditions of Nalanda monastery is they composed with 3 preliminaries, which is the purity of the master, the purity of the students or disciples, and the purity of the Dharma. So Nalanda monastery, their traditions is composed a text with these three purities, and Vikramala Shila traditions is composed the text with these three preliminaries: the greatness of the author, the greatness of the teachings, and the way to explain and listen to them. And Lamrim Chemo following the traditions of Vikramala Shila monastery. So the traditions of Nalanda monastery, the first one is the purity of the speech of the master. So the purity of the speech of the master. So what it means is, in order to eliminate the wrong understanding, the misconceptions, and in order to clarify the unrealized meanings, or the meanings that the students don't understand. So whatever teachings that Nalanda masters are going to explain, and it is unmistaken ones, the teachings is unmistaken, and the stages of the path is not upside down, so it's in gradual order, so it's well versed in the stages of the path to practice, or stages of practice. And it contains the instructions, which is uninterrupted or unbroken lineage. So it contains the instructions with the unbroken lineage, and the meanings of the teachings is understand as it is. So whatever teachings that Nalanda master is going to explain, they possess all these good qualities. So this is what it means by purity of speech. And the second purity is purity of the mind of students. Purity of the mind of students. And I'll say, for example, the teachings that the master gives to the students is what the students are striving for. So they strive for such teachings from the student side. And the student, they do not have the mind wanting to compete with others. And they do not have the intentions wanted to become famous or to win or to get praises from others. And the mind of the students is also not meant for after I received these teachings already, then I want to debate or argue with others. So free of these faults or free of these points, then this is what that is what it means by purity of the mind of the students.
근데 취지 부분이었어. 예, 랑지 취마 시위의 취시야데 déjà 상지 살에 취야라 랑지 림바데 홀라 마누와다 마주와디 때문에 때문에 취지 부분이었어. 취지와 마주와 마누와 예 간다 타바다 탄지집도 공파 토야게 내가 연주 디저트 속에 냥스 람바 최대 냥스 람바이나 랑 외바지 외바 상하지 어디지 모르겠어 랑 외바 냥스 타바 공파 토야라 냥리 디제바이나 랑 외바지 탄지집도 공파 토야라 냥리 디제바이나 지야 외바지 어다 근데지 모르겠어 최대 어다 근데지 희지 최다 와서니 느리지 모르겠어.
And the third purity is the purity of the teachings, which is the content. So the teachings having the pure, has a reliable source or authentic origins. So it can trace back to the Buddha himself, and is not the wrong teachings. Because if you were to follow a wrong teachings or wrong instructions, then we will be led to a wrong path, right? So it is free of such faults, and it contains, and the teachings contained in this is of a reliable source. And these teachings is also the path or the teachings that explain the path to enlightenment explained to the disciples is unmistaken and is in gradual order as well. And the third point is, for those who wish to attain the goal, for example, the goal liberations and the state of enlightenment, and whatever is mentioned here, which is the practice, is worthwhile. So the practice mentioned here is worthwhile, means that it worth practicing, and then you will be able to achieve your goal, such as liberations or the state of enlightenment.
That is the Peñalende Kebanaji Chichana Panda, publishing what about Lomiji the Hijichita, what wasn't Chichi, but she but did not so Tikamala Hila in China didn't do with Singawa, that see Mandawas and mother turned that didn't deal with it, lobbying out of us, so I did Chutumba Beach was dinner deal. Lobbying out of us, lobbying out of Chutumba Beach, she was dinner deal with it. Lomi Jita was over there. He never chose a never took dinner routine. He church was now Damala people Chiji was a Damala because Chiji was Kishiwa or dinner routine. Yes, back on that Ganangiwa Maris, Sila Manda, this in West called Kepa Sosogi, Shesula, Shetan Manda, Dija Sosope, Tabat Panji in the Kubalia, Chiala, then that she had church by no Chida Mandawada, at Simandawa, at the new words, Turna, and the Jibawa.
So the traditions of Nalanda Monastery, which is the three purities, the purity of the speech of the masters, the purity of the mind of the disciples, and the purity of the teachings, which is the content, and then together with the traditions of Vikramalashila Monastery, the greatness of the author, the greatness of the teachings, and the way to explain and listen to them are not contradictory. So just the words itself and the way to explain it is different. However, the meanings are the same. Like for example, the purity of the speech of the master, then you can understand it or you can relate it to the greatness of the author of the teachings. And the second purity, the purity of the mind of the disciples, then you can relate it to the way to listen to the teachings. So the way to explain and listen to them, right? So refers to the way to listen to the teachings. And the third one is the purity of the teachings. So you can relate it to the greatness of the teachings.
Oh, that is that. Kanda Lanzo, Njawayo Maries, Kanda Chanju, Lari Chemode, Lanzo Lari de Nyalinda Shetan Jason to whatever. Tikama Lakila Shetan Jason to Wisna, and the Tikama Lakila Shiba Nashi, she will yes. They don't say Karisna, Lari Chemode and Lanzo, Zawaya, Kunches, George Padiadisha, Padiadisha, Shantu Landu Dumana. Zawa Shungirwa. Shung this ones are that George Badi Adisha, Tikama like Church and Shishin Chihuahua. tikama la hila kima paint tarwa o da dindi sonsa da kanda tikama la hila paint darwe dan cheda de na shi jine na ri chemo de tuzi chigu yore es na ri o de chigu ya geze de zawa shungje kunche sa de langde wa langde sonsa da langde zomba ko choji pa dia di wa o de jine da kanda chedang tuzi che yore es na ri chemo da langde chemo de na ri de da jibar wa na ri.
Yeah, so you should understand the traditions of Nalanda and the traditions of Vikramalashila are non-contradictory. So if someone were to ask you, so the compositions of Lamrim Chenmo, so which traditions it follows? So whether it follows the traditions of Nalanda or it follows the traditions of Vikramalashila. So you should understand it, or you should say it follows the traditions of Vikramalashila monastery. Because the root text of the Lamrim Chenmo, or the main text this Lamrim Chenmo was based is Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, composed by Lama Atisha. So Lama Atisha is the Pandita from Vikramalashila Monastery, and Vikramalashila Monastery, they explain teachings following these traditions, following their own traditions. Therefore, the compositions of Lamrim Chenmo, following the traditions of Vikramalashila, is the reason. Yeah, is the reason why they follow this tradition.
That reason that the Sachi Somode and that Vikramalashila Chetsumba Chiwa Chichiwa Chitahi Nibi Susumi Chiwa Yebatar, that is Sachi Digu and that one Ligua, that the Chaduna Chidila. She couldn't imagine the Babichua, that Damala Kabachi Chichua, that Chiwani that the Chile and Ishida, Damangito much that is in budget, such a she. But such a she would somebody, Shendang Matunjo Matna, such a she would Matunjo started that chimbo, a day chantu, now in one in you, but that's such a dish now give for Chanza.
Yeah, so this is an explanation. This is the explanations of the traditions of Vikramalashila monastery. They explain the teachings with these three monasteries: the greatness of the author, the greatness of the teachings, and the way to explain them. And this brings to next, the four root outline. So the four root outlines are showing the greatness of the author in order to show that his dharma is a pure source. So this is the preliminaries I mentioned on the previous page. And the second one is showing the greatness of his dharma in order to generate respect for the instructions. How the dharma possessing those two greatnesses should be listened to and explained. And the last one is the stages by which a student should be guided through the actual instructions. So if you are not able to memorize the teachings of Lamrim, then at least you should memorize these four root outlines, because these four root outlines contains all the teachings of Lamrim.
That the reason that was the such Shigode, that didn't totally Shigura, Sonsa, that's such a Jemadramazo, such a tambo, Chu Kunzuma Divisions, about the Chawasi, Dinaman Rains, that didn't also, that is my Gelman also this that. 100 thesis, look at 3 thesis was one. So, general thesis and your restaurant.
Yeah, so I will stop here. I will stop here for question and answers. So I will stop here for question and answers. So next class, then I will start the first outline, so showing the greatness of the author in order to show that his dharma is a pure source.
Totally.
So if you have any questions, then you can ask now.
You can unmute yourself to ask question. Or you can type it out. It's not convenient to unmute.
So yeah, if you don't have any questions, then I will continue to teach.
Kishla.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. You were talking about Lama Selimpa, and he was residing at the Golden Continent. What is this Golden Continent?
Sorry, could you please repeat your questions? You win. Oh. Could you please repeat your question? Sorry.
Oh, Gishichun was talking about Lama Selimpa at the Golden Continent. What is this, or where is this Golden Continent?
Ali. Lama Selim, thank you. So Lama Selim ba ne de Seling yu ne Seling yu la ne yo ro is la. And it is Seling yu de kawa yo re sa.
That part Indonesia email to this Rua, Indonesia. Selling you to like Lama Selim Bazakanda, Jesse Rishas, Javipo, Javijupo, Jesse. Jesse Rishas.
Oh, Lama Selim ba kese re.
Lama Selim.
Oh.
Uma Jesse Jene, the links are Rua. They kanda selling you to that Chitang was a logit so jailing was a non of some Mongo Yoris Jiva. Selling so such a telapa, Rumbuchi, Sachi was said that one, the super Mambo. Reunion, this such a such a motivation. This such a such a motivation. You know, no jail, so not to jail, not to
Yeah, so I believe this golden continent is Indonesia, and Lama Salingpa was a prince as well. So this golden continent is a place filled with, there were many gold and silvers underground.
Selling a church of us needed. Selling a church of us.
Oh, selling by tree the Lama Salingba ge and the name of Lama Salingba is Lama Salingba Chugitaba.
You know, that was not a logic, Java the jail, Missy Shichurua.
So in and it's also called Dharma Kitty. So the biographies of Lama Salingba, then we can explore it in the future.
Can I have another question?
Yes.
Atisha discussed with Selimpa about the instructions of for bodhicitta, but we were just told that the Lamrim that we are discussing or learning follows the tradition of the Vikramasila, which is the monastery where Atisha came from. So why is it so that Selimpa is totally forgotten in this case? Or I mean, forgotten between quotation marks.
Yeah, ini de lama Atisha, de Lama Salingba ye kaza jenga la kaza jangchu gi sem gi damga de chuba ro gi la. Ini tanda ina de Lamrim chemo de zombe kabla ini de kaza Vikrama la shila gomba gi lula ini de dogi oro. Vikrama la shila gi lusu da oro ini de kaza chugi zomba bo chugi chewa da bo ini de nangshin de dogi ores. Ini de Lama Salingba ye lamsu da bo ini de meba nangshin chaba resa.
Di chaba morista.
Lusu da.
Lama Salingba ge menga shine kanda Lama Salingba ge nangshi meba marisko. Salingba ge menga de jiba de da so dirwa. Di chechena de pro joji pra chiweres. Tenda jiba rese kanda. Tenda jiba chidare minza de ma tenda jiba resko.
Di lusu de zo.
Nani da chedang ma so chu chedang de shigora. Chu chedang de ma shigora. Te tenda jiba resko minta ba tang resko. Tenda nani da ke borso. Salingba ge menga de daro resko.
De menga gyubaro.
Menga ge teje menga shedang daro chari resko.
Yeah, so regarding Nalanda monastery or Vikramalashila monastery, so that is about the way they explain the teachings. So then it differs So Nalanda monastery and Vikramalashila, they explain the teachings differently. However, the meaning is exactly the same, and Lama Salingpa is not forgotten in the text as well, because the lineage of the instructions Lama Latisha received was from Lama Selingpa, and the instructions in this text, in Lamrim text, contains the instructions from Lama Latisha as well. So the lineage of instructions is included or contained in this text. So Lama Selingpa is not forgotten.
Ken, I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
Just now, you were mentioning about explicit and implicit teachings. Nagarjuna is explicit, Rasanga is implicit, and something about emptiness and bodhicitta. Could you clarify that again?
Yeah. 那别等东义嘅人巴同嗰啥別等我都嘅人巴同我哋東義嘅人巴，實際呢啲咁不嬲就同透明呢叫巴嘅，啲樣嘅啲送巴嘅，呢啲過來樣啲講出啲先樣送完啦。
係，嗰啲可是繼續吧，我哋學習人多嘅。多一个是，我的东西人把它别的人都就是把它做的你定位了哇，那点呢，上去决定这个嘛，每个就把做的啥，我的东西上面那就是没做的，是那样子呢，的两边那回事，两边每个做的，我的东西人，加起两个人把的，每个嘛那啥的，叫我上班的回事，叫我上班的那啥，每个第三做呢。
別等嗰度那啲嘅清楚吧，
大家喜歡嘛？別等嗰度就係乜嘢？就話上班咁嘛，是那回事。但就話上班咁，別等嗰度就話別個是呢，學習人多了吧？社會上面呢，就話上班咁，別嗰度就是三萬的嘛，對嘛？就話上班咁三萬的嘛，都是對我的事，話別等嗰度就是乜嘢？這是乜嘢？我哋東西人嘛，人多一個是，我們錄嘅人家嘛，三萬的，對嘛？對呢？這我的，這叫我上班我是節省上那個，看他好透明了吧，現在清楚，好透明。那看到的，叫我上班的時候，好透明的時候。
好透明的，咁不錄住呢個咯。
當我不錄住的，透明的，錄住個唄，上面人做唄，上面人就是把它做定了，好的時候，是吧？好透明的，加起來就是把它，加起來就是把它，的做些別的就是把它什麼做工作這個事。
Yeah, so in the Pakkhaparamita Sutra, so it contains two teachings. One is implicit one, and another one is explicit one. So the explicit teachings is emptiness. So because emptiness is the explicit topic discussed in the Pakkhaparamita Sutras, right? And the implicit teachings is the ornament, is the clear realization. So emptiness, which is the path of the profound path of profound view, and Buddha mainly give the instructions to Manjushri, and the path of vast conduct, the instructions mainly given to Maitreya. And in the Pakkhaparamita Sutra, which is not clearly mentioned, is the clear realizations. And in order to clarify the implicit teachings, which is the clear realizations, and Asanga has composed the text to clarify it. And the explicit teachings, which is emptiness, which is explicitly discussed in the Pakkhaparamita Sutra, is clarified by Nagarjuna.
Okay, thank you.
We have also questions from the group chat. Praveen asks, may I know all the names of lamas as well as the monasteries are in the Middle Lang Lamrim?
Can I know all the names of lamas as well as the monasteries? You mean, I don't really quite get your questions, sorry. Would you mind to unmute yourself and...
Okay, Ken,
yes.
it's me.
Yeah.
Caroline here. Throughout the teaching that Geshe-la taught just now, there were a lot of lamas' name, and the monastery as well. I don't get all the names, and I don't intend to ask you because I would rather refer to the text. Is it all from the MLR text?
Any the tangin the lama ki chen ta any the kumba ki chen the mambo swing ba is la pena chashana kunjo ki chen double pena chashana any the chama lamrim tingbo nanglo la yunas 6 den 10 den so 10den so any the ma kasa the ma dia ki de ba yusa any the 10 den so changma lamrim tingbo nanglo la sung yunas
나는 좀 당와서 누구 뒤뒤만 안다 시오려면 세트 좀 미스 요 말았어. 세트 좀 미스 요 말았어. 나 간다 꼬아도 들어와서 나리 처모도 치치가다 된바. 나리 처모 치치가다 된가서 나리 좀 변화 치치가다 된대 그래. 이 시고 지들와.
진짜 네 요마로.
나리 누구 치다가로 요 말았어.
So I talked about the names of those great masters, such as those who exhorted Lama Tsongkhapa to compose Lamrim Chenmo, etc. Because because of the 5 excellent qualities Lamrim Chenmo possesses. Therefore, I mentioned about those the names of those great masters. However, those names are not. Those names are not included, not mentioned in the Lamrim Chenmo or Lamrim text.
Question, Ken?
Yes.
Thank you. I have another question following this. Regarding the ornament for clear light realizations is an implicit teaching. Does it refer to, does it mean that it is a philosophy through logic and reasoning?
That's okay. Any the better the ngun segi ora isla. Ngun better ngun to yishma ro. Any the ngun to kiengi kola na the kasa ngaso kasa logic kasa tensi tang gyungzen gi tone ha go ya ribes better gi twenda de better said de ngaso
세볼 기잖아요. 이만 희신 도에 가서 베베 주지 마때네. 그것도 제 가서 델레 싸와시. 베트한테 파 세보시는 된게 맞아보나 싸울라 막 떠나보지 마 배워야나 싸울라 떠지면 대야 오는 세보지는 받대마 어다데 희신도라 막 배대지 때문에 때문에 이나 모두 저거 배대도 파 싸와시 세보시는 받대게 이로 했습니다.
연장 가서당 덴지당 김생기 토니 하고야를 마도 베히오리스 니기 된다 말이베스 나서 Yeah, so when we talk about the implicit teachings, which is clear realizations, so implicit teaching also means that you hide something underground and then you reveal it. So when ornament for clear realization is the one who reveal the implicit teachings, hide or implanted in the Pakya Sutra. So that is what implicit teachings, clear realizations mean. So it's not clearly mentioned. And the tensi da kimzengi tone ha go ya de ni de betyön se yi ore tam ma ro is la.
세보지 마때야. 배워서 세보지 좀 해 봐지. 다 인지로도 뭐 세보지 때가 들어.
That's all. Yeah, so implicit teaching also means clear realizations. The text is ornament for clear realization is the one who reveal the implicit teachings in the Pakya Sutra.
Thank you, Geshe-la and Ken.
Thank you. Just now, Sally.
Sally, can you try to unmute yourself?
Okay. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Ken?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Geshe-la mentioned that the Lamrim Chenmo summarizes all the points of the Victus scriptures, which include the Sutra and the Tantra. Yeah, all the Sutras teaching and as well as all the Tantra's teachings. Yeah, this is what I got. So can Geshe-la give an example of the Tantra teaching, which is in Lamrim Chenmo? Number one. Number two, if it is summarized, all the Tantra's teachings are summarized in Lamrim Chenmo, then why is there a need for Lama Tsongkhapa to compose Ngak Rim, which is the stages of the path for the Tantra path. Thank you.
Ale thangi di kasa kichu kasa tönga yoro gijala tönga di yoro ani di sangi ki sumrak thamji dubaro gijala ne duba ani di kisla gi tishik kaptu ni di kasa dogi choda nga gi cho niga di dugi yoro gijala ani di kungi chewa di re ani di lamrim chimo nanglo la ani di pejik sharo nangs di nga dang dewa ki pejik sharo nangs Tiwa Tambo Jire, Nibate, Kesi, Lamrim Chemo Nangola, Nagi Cho, Yang Nagi Chogi Ne, Yang Tugi Yona, Karijine, Lamazongapa, Narim Chemo de Zungoresa. Narim Chemo, Karijine, Narim Chemo, and Missegi, Miss Shen, Kazaya, Sula Jisu,
did the Kio Maras, Jermuchi, Mancha, Mashu Tanga, Jermuchi, Sopo Jugino. Suppose the Juji or the Mancha and Mashores, and those showing Mashu Mangres. Not sure of Mangres. Ding also Kanda Kio Maritim, Dijala Kuro, Capsula Cato Cato Shich, Sanchuris, Dijala Cato, Dijala Caspo to Sanguris. Did Jermuchi, Suppose the Juji and Mancha, Mashu Jangaris. Mancha and Mashores. Richimon.
The page Sharon Nasa, Lamimchimo Nangola, Nagi Dewa, Nagi Dishi, the page Sharon Nasa.
Labasungal Marshal with the Mar Shield. Labasun Marshal with the Pro, Srinji Lava, Tingan Lava, Srinji Lava showed the Dojiti, Srinji Lava Shield, Tingan Lava showed it, De Shield, Shirji Lava showed it, Niga Shield,
Shibanide,
killing the Lava Pedisha. Srinji Lava showed it, Dojiti, some Dojiti, Srinji Shield, Tingan Lava showed it, and the cheering Lava Shield. That showed the Lava showed it. That would Doring Bear along the share with or pin a period or Lari was a Chimony or Dumony of Nina Tango.
The Tiwatambo also. Kaisna Kung Chuaniba di Yoro, any day Laminchimo, the Donga Niga Tugiona, Guinea Tugiona, and the Karichinean Sula, the Narichimo de Zungoris, the Chuaniba.
Dija Khan Nabatine, Jerubuchi. Odo Jujin Mancha and Masho race with the line. Mancha and Masho race. Didn't give up in Umaris. Original Larichima, Marcusona, and Yoyuma, put Dija Cadola and so.
So to your first questions, like for example, when at the beginning of the text as well, so when it talks about Lama Atisha trained in three trainings, like for example, the training in morality, the training in concentration, and training in wisdom, then the Tantra is already mentioned in it. For example, when Lama Atisha trained in morality, then Lama Atisha also trained, receive and protect tantric vows as well. So he receive and also keep tantric vows. So this is the tantric tantra related. And the second one is training in concentration. So the training in concentration also talks about the common one and also the uncommon one that Lama Atisha trained in. So it talks about the meditative concentrations of the generation stage, and it also talks about the meditative concentrations of a completion stage as well. So similar to training in wisdom also. So this is to the first questions, and the second question is there is no the compositions of flow. Aleom.
The Dejin Rogu Mares, Jerem, which is Sumpo the Jujina, Mancha, Mashu Janjas, the Dijala, Caspa, Dijala, like that, Katushi, some rest, Katu Katu Latin, some rest, the Junka Mares.
So, to your second questions, so there is no fault of repetitions. So there is the text is not repeated. The Lamrim Chemo and Ngaring Chemo. So because among the great texts, among the texts composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, so there are 18 texts or 18 scriptures, and among these 18 scriptures, Tantra related are more than sutra related. So again, compositions of Lamrim Chenmo, those compositions of those texts are composed according to the mental dispositions and requests of the disciples. So therefore, there is no the faults of repetition. So your question is similar to a question is like since Lama Tsongkhapa composed Lamrim Chenmo already, in which it contains the complete instructions, then there is no need. Then why there is such a need to compose the middle length Lamrim and the small, the short length, which is the spiritual songs of realization? So it seems like there is no need to compose the shorter length of Lamrim Chenmo as well. However, there is a need to compose those texts in relation to the need of the disciples. So it's meant for the disciples.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Ken. I have a question on the definition of Tangchup. So when Geshe-la explains Tangchup, meaning that it is of the 3 levels of hearers, literary realizers, and the Bodhisattva. But when we add the wording Sempa, the person of enlightenment, Tangchup Sempa. So when we only mean one meaning, which is the Bodhisattva. It doesn't imply the enlightenment of the Sravakas or the Pacceka Buddhas. That's the first part of the question. The second part is when you talk about Tangchup Sempa, then there are 2 types of Tangchup Sempa. One is the ordinary and one is the enlightened Bodhisattva. So how do we sort of avoid this misunderstanding of the wording Tangchup and Tangchup Sempa?
Ini di Tangchup Lamrim di dici kasa kasi di dici kabikap lah. Ini di Tangchup saya di nyentuh ki Tangchup dan ranggi ki Tangchup dan kasa Tangchup Semba ki Tangchup ya, kecing ki Tangchup segi orang. Ini di kasi ngatu Tangchup saya di yang Semba cik di nyam kasa Semba cik di Jawa na Tangchup Semba cakap orang. Tangchup Semba di Jawa na ini di kecing ki Tangchup matu di kau maruas, di kau di kasa nyentuh tang ranggi ki Tangchup kau yo maruas di Jawa Tamboris. Jadi nas, jadi ni pada Tangchup Semba segi yo nele, ini di Tangchup Semba peba tang di kasa sanggi be Tangchup Semba di segi yo maruas. Tangchup Semba ini di sang ma keba tang, ini di sang keba ki keba yo maruas lah. Tangchup Semba saya. So. Yanti kasa yanti jina kongi cewa dia kasa papa Tangchup Semba dan Tangchup Semba peba de niga ingire.
papa la Tangchup Semba da sanji papa ni shemora.
Papa saya dia.
Tiba cuma la sanji papa da Tangchup papa ni shemora. Dia saya.
Tangchup papa ro. Ini di Tangchup Semba ini yang di peba di yo ro isla. Di kasa tongi ma tongwen la.
This susu jiwa lah. Tangchup Semba la susu jiwa da papa ni lah.
Tangchup Semba susu jiwa.
Jiwa da papa ni.
Ale.
Susu jiwa da想些传染不的，传染不的想些做些的，想些susu jiwa。而想些papa的想些有传染传染的时候，想些papa，上去恐怕毛头把的想些papa的。但上去恐怕拖着的Tangchup Semba 많이 붙였어, 봐. 상지 뭐 있어.
Tangchup papa. Ini di Tangchup Semba sik di kasa ten di biju tangi omaro. Namdang di ini di sanggi mato. Ini di pinacha sana kasa pemba tuba ina. So di Tangchup Semba res lapcho omaro.
Mato.
Ini di sanggi ki papa lapcho.
티치 강사 되라. 티치 그런 데는 티치 강사 되라. chanju simba da sanji papa ni yore so jinju
상기 당 장세로
ni tichi kansa de la
대진이 가서 네
tichi
상기
kansa de
가다
la sanji papa da changse ko chanju simba ni yore chanju simba so jinju
제주 셈바 랍쇼래
chanju simba da sanji papa ni yore so dillo na yaga ko
제주 셈바
그런 좋아 de la tichi kansa de la tichi kansa de la chanju simba da sanji kansa ni yore ni yore chanju simba corona so jinju de papa ni shagura
So so regarding the explanations about Jiangchup, then it talks about the enlightenment of solitary realizers, hero realizers, and the Mahayana, the enlightenment of Mahayana as well. So if you were to kaza tiwa thangbo di chanchu semba thang jawa ina eni den yin tu rangi thang teaching gi jangsim dio eni di
chanchu so de
chanchu semba de jawa ina
chanchu so yo da chanchu semba so lo de ko kansa cha sa res da chanchu so de kansa ma res chanchu so de kansa ma res chanchu so de ngaso pandu yin de res pandu yin de pandu yin de to bi yin de res chanchu semba so de kansa corona chanchu semba ma de neje da ja ko sa chuni yo ma res chuni kwa yo ma res chanchu semba so de kansa cha sa res 이 간사데 chanchu simba ma to neje da ja chilo kwa yo ma res chanchu selodi de pandu ji ge res de pandu ji ge so sa de neje ji chanchu de je chanchu ja ji chanchu si chanchu res
yeah. So when we talk about Jiangchup, so Jiangchup is explained from the perspective of quality of abandonment and the quality of adoption, quality of accomplishment. So Jiangchup, these words, is not related to persons or not related to being. So Jiangchup, if when we explain it, from the perspective of quality of abandonment and the quality of accomplishment, therefore, the enlightenment of hero realizers, solitary realizers, and the enlightenment of Mahayana is explained. So if you were to add Sempa after Jiangchup, then it becomes a person, it becomes a being. So if it becomes a in English is bodhisattvas. So if you add it and become a bodhisattvas, then solitary realizers and hero realizers is not included in these words anymore. So Jiangchup itself is explained from the perspective of quality of abandonment and the quality of accomplishment. And the second question is, Jiangchu Semba, then you talk about the ordinary bodhisattvas and the enlightened ones. So if I'm not mistaken, then you say ordinary bodhisattvas and the enlightened bodhisattvas. So my understanding to your question is, there are two types of Mahayanists. So the one is bodhisattvas, another one is Buddha. So if you were to talk, when you talk about ordinary bodhisattvas, it is mainly refer to the bodhisattvas who are training on the path of accumulations and path of preparations. So if they become Buddha, then they are called Buddha. So they achieve the state of enlightenment already, then they are called Buddha. So there are two types of Mahayanists. So one is bodhisattvas and another one is Buddha. Teaching Mahayana beings or Mahayanists. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Last one,
yeah, last one, yeah, okay.
Shirley, 最后一个是吗？还是is Kadamba teachings is same as Vikram, same as from Ale. Kadamba gi chu kaza Kadamba yoro agi jala. Kadamba ina ini di Vikrama Lashila Gombani kaza Vikrala Masila Gomba digi yores, then lamna digi yores. Kadamba denzo.
Kadamba sina tidang anso di kadang sawa da nima teje kadamba di shewara anso choji padi adisha aben kuteba jain di kadamba nimba lama shibore.
Lama adisha.
Kada sani ni shebore. Kada nimba de anso padi adisha da an lung temba da. Gishi kodo di ne kada kadang 가든 님바가
가단 사바데
사마는 그런 거 가시고
나소
이런 거 가시고 땡와서 지난 시간에 왜나 이제 시도
데데나 알레 별라 아니디 가담
가담 글라마
알레
가담 글라마 맞고 최우선의 조지 빠디아 디셔는 뭐 이거라 죽어라
지산이 디 가담 바기 추 ini di nanti kata mbak lama tahu ini inji minji di Vikramala Shila
They are asking Geshe-la, they want to ask me.
Ya so Vikramala Shila itu kompati.
Kata sama jin musika sekolah kata sama. Kamu penjagi tak George pada addition itu dia kan nandung dan baca ini kisi foto kisi cara mau kisi wah dia kan ini kadang pertama
Bela yeah, so how say this new Kadamba, when we talk about Kadamba, so there are new Kadamba and old Kadamba. So this is the how say saying in Tibet. So the new Kadamba and old Kadamba. So old Kadamba such as Kadamba Lamas, such as Lama Atisha, Tunbimba, Putua Charawa, and etc. And the new Kadamba masters such as J. Rimuche. So Vikramala Shila monastery is mentioned is how say it refers to Lama Atisha. Yeah? So it refers to Lama Atisha's alone. So how say the Kadamba teachings is from Lama Atishas. So however, it's not necessary all Kadamba teachings how say from Vikramala Shila monastery. Jadi na di Kadamba Lama Changma Vikramala Shila Mane Marwas. That's so and Vikramala Shila monastery is in India. So has it those Kadamba teachings Kadamba ina di changma kaza lama atisha mato. Yeah, so the lineage of the instructions of Kadamba teachings all traced from Lama Atisha.
It has to come from Vikramala Shila, right? That's your lineage. Context. I typed pay already. I typed pay. No more.
To clarify, some of experience is the shortest Lamrim. How about Yundin Shiguma? I thought that is the shortest of the Lamrim. Any day Lamrim Yamguma na the Lamrim Chunga the Roisla. Any day Yundin Shiguma na Yundin Shiguma na the Chunga the Samsung. Yamdi Shiguma na the Nachu the Yamle. So Tende na the Yundin Shiguma na the Lamrim Gichunga de Maro.
Kada chechi so the mean the tower da the me get I am Jerry Mochel on the Sanjero. La riso shivero.
Yes, sir.
The new one to meet us and Larry. To then also mean over the Lani changes in the dish shiver. And that will be a larger, but thing was a thing where once he got a Larry to meet on a Taniki or Marite. And that Lani Jija Kanga, he into a day or dinner shower. And that also Larry changes to the Larry Chichi J as a shield. Chichi J now. That Chichi J on the not Larry changes to songs at dish indicated Mother Lanton specific, Chichi J no gets to Maris. You say.
Oh, that's so. So Lamrim Chi Ding Chung Sung Mina any the has a Ming Ta Sa Rimato any the Changma Yang the Lamrim Gi but the Shigures.
That's in teaching Mother Lanton as well. So Lanton by Shade Shigo the Ming Ta Sa and the Misa and the Lani Chichi Chichi General. Chichi General. That's a Ming Ta Sa Lani Chichi and Dumbo. That now indigenous mother land, so the land, but she was a shield in a cusp of a Nita Cheva.
So
she does of Laris, Nike Town Marisco. Lari, Nita, and the Lari Shiva.
Yes. Yeah. So how say it's just how say they are different in terms of naming. Like for example, there are 8 great Lamrim text, and 8 great Lamrim texts in which it talks about the great length, it talks about the middle length, and it talks about the the shortest length, or the short length. And the short length refers to the spiritual songs of realizations. So it's just a difference in terms of namings. So when it names the short length of Lamrim, then it refers to the spiritual song of realization. So like for example, beside this, then Lama Tsongkhapa also composed other texts as well, such as the 3 principal aspects of the path, or other texts as well. However, they do not name as the short length of middle length. They are not named as short length of Lamrim. So just like the Pakya Paramita Sutras as well. So it talks about the stages of the path. However, the stages of the path, this word is not explicitly mentioned in the scriptures.
So thank you. Let's stop here.
Because Sally actually has a question, follow on question that asked by Uncle Kwa just now. So Sally just asked if she can ask the question.
Okay. Tana di kwa gi chiwa di kasayan di thola ini yang chiwa sina ji years and di kan di shun na di res sheri gi.
This morning.
Yeah, already 6:10. So kindly ask in next class.
Yeah, yeah,
so it's already 6:11 already. So probably some of you have to rush to somewhere else. So kindly ask the questions in next class.
So we will keep the question for next class, Sally.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Dagi jini sabi ki wadi tenan duwa kuna kambe dan kiba jitsu lo sang jaba yi tembe nyingbo rindu se je shu semju rinpo je ma ki pa na ki kyu je ki pa nyamba me ba yang kone kondo pe wa shu awe jita kenpa dan kundo sambo de yang de shin de de ta kungi je su ta lo je ra de ta tam je rab tu ngo ma ki pa na ki kyu je ki pa nyamba me ba yang kone kondo pe wa shu awa rinpo je ma ki pa na ki kyu je ki pa nyamba me ba yang kone kondo pe wa shu cham chen cham gyun ge we den jing gyun be we kun su do bo se cho sun gu we le me tu tro pa da so tu je kun do sha den shu je sun do ju be lam chi je se se kan chen chen ju gyun cha na be mo den jing ga zo la so wa de so shen de do shu pen de ma le ba kan le jung we sam be yi shin no ka jin su me den jing ga zo la so wa de so tu sha do shu ra we ko we shin kan de pen dang de wa ma lu jung we ne jin re zo wan den jing ga zo yi sha be si de pa tu den gyu ji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night.
Thank
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you.